And today we are going to do a playthrough of Phantom Epoch. We're going to go through and see how this game is played through a scenario. First things first is that we're going to choose a character class. Today we are choosing the warrior here, as you can see denoted by that. His critical abilities, he could gain Barrier and Vengeful if he rolls a crit. Then because we chose him, we also get this starting ability as well, denoted by that symbol as well there. For a critical ability, we can inflict stun. So if we get a critical ability, we can activate one or the other one of those. And that goes there. And we grab the warrior's deck of cards. This is our deck of 10 cards that we start with. The second thing that we're going to do is grab a species. We have chosen today to be a male Grolic for this warrior. He's got an HP of 17. He can use up to 9 action points right there per turn. And then what his ability is, when converting an action card into an attack action, you add +1 to the attack. So it's kind of right. He's a warrior, so he's going to get a little bit easier of attack. And we have his miniature. And we'll set his miniature to 17. That little arrow denotes to that 7, and this white base that does come off denotes a +10 to his HP. So that's kind of hard to see. There you go. 7 + 10, so his HP is 17. And for our second character class here, we have chosen the Archer, which has a critical ability of ×2 damage. And because we picked the Archer, we also get this ability, critical ability, inflict vulnerable. And it's the Archer's because it's got that symbol as well. Place that right there. We also are going to grab the Archer's deck, starting off with their 10 cards there. And we also chose the Slink species. She has an HP of 13. She can use up to 11 action points. And her ability is guard +1 attack against range attacks, right? So she's actually set up kind of almost to be that Archer, because she's going to get a +1 against range attacks. So she's already going to try to stay back, which is good. We'll place that right there. Now, however, I'm actually going to use, this is a Grolic, female Grolic, right there. So I actually don't have a good mini for the Slinks. They kind of broke just because the prototypes, just the quality is not great, right? Because they're prototypes. And this is the only one that actually is still put together with a base on there. But she's female. We have a female Slink. And then, so we still get to use one of the minis. So we were set her health to 13 there. If that stays clicked there. 13 there. It's got the +10 base. And we'll go on to the next step for the setup. So I'm not actually going to do this part, but this is what you would do. This is your character sheet. Put in your name, your class, race. And this is just to kind of start to keep track of all of the missions, your equipment, and action cards that you've purchased. Right? So this is kind of your saving card. I'm not going to fill that out because we're just going to do 1 or 2 videos here. So, but this is what you would also want to do next, is fill out a sheet for each of your characters, so then you have a save item or place to save all your information for each character. The next thing you're going to do is to open up the mission books here. As you can see, we've got the story for the mission up top there. We've got it opened up also to the thing there, and these are the 2 separate mission books here, set up and ready to go. And the next thing is to read the mission introduction. However, I don't want to spoil any of the story or anything, so I'm not going to pay attention to the story here. But our first objective is to retrieve the treasure, and we start with both a Grolic Archer and a Grolic Sentry. And now we'll go to the map and start placing out all the tokens for it. A quick thing to show you how to set up the enemies right off the bat. You've got these that say 3 to 4, 2 to 4, 2 to 4, and 4. that means how many players or characters you are using. So even though I'm playing solo, I do have 2 characters, both the archer and the warrior. Therefore, I will only set up for the ones that say 2 to 4. But all right, we have set up. We have placed an orb where it has told us to place an orb. We have set up a Grolic archer, just right there, and a Grolic sentry right up there. So these are your enemy cards. This is for the Grolic sentry. His health point is 11. He has a guard of 2, attack of 1, and a range of 1. And his critical ability is he gains a barrier. Then we have our Grolic archer. He has a HP of 7. His guard is actually a -1, attack of 1, and a range of 5. And critical ability is to inflict bleeding. Next thing to do is to grab these 2 decks. Since they're both Grolics, we have 1 Grolic deck. Then we have an archer, so we have an archer deck. And we have a sentry, so we have a sentry deck. And this will be our AI for the enemies. The next thing we want to do is create the event deck. So we have a handful of these that all have the X on the top. That means these are the ones we start with. And what we're going to do is we're going to give these a little bit of a shuffle. And then we're just going to draw 5 of these out. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to put the rest off to the side. And then we're going to grab the 6+ deck. We're going to give them a little shuffle here. And we will place the 1 through 5 on top. And that is our event deck. And last thing here, these little symbols here is where our heroes can start. So we're going to have 1 hero start there. And we're going to have the archer start there, I guess. I'm not really sure, but that's what we're going to go with. All right, let's go through the 10 cards real quick for each character here. So here we have the Grolic warrior. We have shields up. That gives us a guard of +3. That symbol there says after I play it, it lasts for the rest of the round. Or it's got 3 movement. Next we have lunge, which is a attack +1. And actually gives us a range of 2, right? So we're lunging forward. And it has a movement of 4. The next we have dash, which is just a move 2 or move 1. I don't know why you would spend it to move a 1 if it's already move 2, but meaning that it's a quick initiative at least. Then we have slash, which is just an attack +1 or a 3 movement. Next we have vault, which gives us a leap 4, but we must move in a straight line or sell it for leap or movement 3 or with a 3 initiative. Then we have brick wall, which, so that little symbol meaning after we play it, it will last for the rest of the round. And all damage against the warrior is treated as 0. And new detrimental conditions cannot be inflicted on the warrior. This must be the only card selected this turn, otherwise it must be discarded or converted to movement or an attack. And we can convert it to a 4. So this is a one-off, knowing you're going to get hit. Play this card so you know you won't take any damage that turn. So he could be that kind of a tank there. Or right next, he could be that heavy swing, do an attack +3 damage, or convert it for a movement of 6 or 6 initiative. Next is a shield bash, which once again that symbol, so will be for the rest of the round. Guard +1 and an attack, but with no bonuses to that attack, or convert it for 3 or 3 initiative. Next he has parry, which once again, his guard +2 for the rest of the round, and an attack +2, but the initiative is 7. Or 7 movement, which actually might be handy at some times. The next he has tackle. That sounds kind of cool. So he can move 4, but must move to a space adjacent to a visible adversary. At end of the move action, roll the accuracy dice. If block or success is rolled, inflict knockdown on one adjacent adversary. Okay, that's cool. Literally, you're moving up to him and tackling him. You're taking him down. That is really cool. With a 2 initiative or 2 movement. And that's the 10 for the warrior. And next up, we have the archer. We're going to go through her 10 cards here. First one here is take cover, with initiative of 3. She can pick one adjacent destructible object, and this means that it's going to continue forever until you discard it. Range attacks targeting the ranger instead target the destructible object, though range and line of sight is still drawn to the ranger. Discard this card when the ranger moves or the object is destroyed. Okay, so that means it stays until the ranger moves or the enemy destroys that object, then this card gets discarded. She has Snipe, which has initiative of 4. Attack with a range +3, so she can shoot from a far ways. And do not roll any accuracy checks. The attack automatically reaches the intended target. That could be super handy. You get it to shoot through everything, basically. That's cool. She has a reposition, which initiative of 2. And she can move 5, but must end in a space adjacent to a wall or object. So she's repositioning against the wall, I guess. A piercing shot, initiative of 5, and attack, pierce 3. Pierce 3 does exactly what you think. It goes through any of their guard abilities to do direct hits. Headshot, with initiative of 5. You have an attack, and if the attack succeeds, but a critical strike was not rolled, activate an available critical ability anyways. Okay, so this is automatic headshot, basically. As long as you hit, it's going to be a critical one. That's cool. You have camouflage for initiative 2, which is just gain invisibility. That's awesome. Blunt shot with initiative of 3. Attack. If the attack succeeds, optionally inflict stunned instead of dealing damage. Oh, so if somebody is just going to get hurt bad, but you want to decrease or them not to activate rather than doing, 1 or 2 damage, that's pretty cool. Spread shot, initiative 6, and attack 3 targets. Alright, that's cool. Evasive maneuvers. She can move 3, and then for the rest of the round, she could guard +2 with that initiative 3. And penetrating shot. Initiative 5, she has an attack +1, but a range of -1. And on all accuracy checks during this attack, if success or block is rolled, the attack applies as if a block was rolled, but then continues on as if a success was rolled. A critical strike hits every non-adjacent enemy and object in line of sight. Holy cow. That is crazy. So that means you're going to basically hit every penetrating shot. That makes sense, right? Bouncing off all the objects you're shooting through, and or even people. So if you got people lined up, that could be super handy. I like it. And we're back to take cover. So that is her starting 10 cards. So here is the mission event and event adversary. So what these means, a mission event is one of the event cards. If it says mission event on it, that means this is going to happen, which says lava erupts all around. Every figure that ends the round adjacent to a fire hazard is inflicted with burning. So if at the beginning of the turn we draw an event card that says mission event, at the end of that turn, if we are adjacent to any of those fire hazards, we're going to get that burning. And our event adversary is a Grolic Archer, which once again, either the mission event or the storybook can tell us to spawn an event adversary. And for this one, it's going to be a Grolic Archer. Alright, so we're going to start our round just so you can tell that this is a door. So that means this whole room here is still closed off. Just I'm not sure if you could tell that in the camera. But that's a door. And the treasure is actually right there, which I did not put on the map, which I'll put on the map right there. So that's the treasure that we're trying to go to for our objective. However, we do have a closed door there. And we do have enemies right there, that right in front of the door that we got to try to go to. And then also we have this orb that obviously we probably kind of want to investigate because that's kind of the thing of the game. And first thing we do is to start every round is we're going to roll this decision dice. And we got a blue northeast. So I will just set that off to the side for now. So we remember if we need any decisions, that's how we're going to decide. Next is we're going to draw an event card. So we're going to draw this event card. And we have sore muscles. Every character that is not already at maximum bandages rolls the basic attack die. If a fumble is rolled, the character receives 1 bandage. just to clarify one thing, bandages are on your board right here. Anytime your character is healed, you have to place one bandage on your board. If it's healed again, you place another bandage there. If those two spots are filled, they cannot be healed again. Unless there are some abilities that could get rid of bandages. However, if these are filled, they cannot be healed anymore. So with this card, if we roll and get a bandage, that means we just can't heal as much this round or this game. So we're going to do this roll for the Grolic Warrior here. And he did not get a fumble, so he is good. Now we're going to roll for the Slink Archer. And she also did not get the fumble, which is that symbol right there. So she got a 2, so we are both safe from that event. Alright, so now we're going to choose the cards for the characters. Now, if you're playing multiplayer, you're not supposed to talk to each other. You're supposed to just talk in generalities of what you're going to do or want to do. You're not supposed to say exactly what your initiative or what your cards are going to do. But in solo, you can't really get past that. So we're just going to go with it. So the warrior, what I'm going to do, I want him to go I want to make sure he goes last if he can. So the first thing is I'm actually going to give him 2 move abilities. I'm going to give him a leap with his vaults and then also a tackle and move 4. That way I'm going last. I can move, make sure I get to my target, and then an attack 1 or attack +1 with a range of 2. I feel like with all that movement and with that range, hopefully I'll be able to get to the enemy depending on what they do and make sure I go last so they go first. So that is what the warrior is going to do. Now for the ranger, she is just going to snipe. So her initiative is going to be 4 and her attack is going to be range +3. Do not roll any accuracy checks and the attack automatically reaches the intended target. That way we don't even have to move and we could attack them right off the bat. Hopefully that 4 initiative is fast enough before they move. Just to show you the board real quick, this is what I'm looking at, right? So these blue borders here are all destructible objects. Therefore you can shoot through them, but you have to roll the accuracy dice to see if you hit them or not. That's why I did that snipe, so I could snipe through there and hit one of them too. Then you have these red. These are the fire or the lava pits, right? You can move through them, but you get 3 damage and burn. Or in this case, this is the mission event. If you're next to one of these and then mission event is activated, that's what will get burning just for being right next to either one of those. Also, we've got this orb. That light blue border means that it's an indestructible object. This is destructible. Sorry, I said that wrong. Destructible object. These are indestructible objects. And then you can't really tell, that's kind of a dotted line right there. That means this is you cannot move onto it, but you can shoot through it or leap over it if you have that leap ability, which I do with the warrior. And I did, after choosing the cards, changed my position where I wanted to start. I wanted to start right here so I can leap there if need be. Or I've got lots of movement to go around if that's needed as well. Alright, now since we've got those chosen for the heroes, now we can reveal what the enemies are going to do. So we're going to reveal a Grolic card for each enemy. For the sentry here, this one's the sentry. So for the sentry, we are going to have a move 3 and attack with a -2 and a 4 initiative. For the archer, we're going to have a lumbering charge with a move 3 and a attack -2. Oh, they're both a lumbering charge. So, weirdly enough, they both do the same thing. Now, for the sentry, this is what we have. The sentry is the yellow base. So the sentry is going to have a initiative of 5. And they are just going to gain resilient and gain barriers. So they're not even going to move or do anything for that. So his initiative is actually going to be 9. And then we're going to get the archer. The archer has the dark blue base. So his initiative is also 9. And they're going to attack and pierce 3. But they do have a range of 5. Ooh, buddy. That's not what I wanted. That means when there's a tie, because my Grolic Warrior is also initiative 9. And when there's a tie, the hero goes first. Even though I don't want them to. But that's what happened. But that does mean that our archer gets to go first. So that's going to be awesome. Alright, so now we are ready to activate each turn. Since we've got initiative of 4 for the archer, we're going to do this one right away. And as you can tell, I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces away from either one of them. And I did forget to show you on the ranges board, her range is 5. Her base range is 5. On this card, it's a +3, so my range is actually 8 right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, playing with 8. We're going to draw a line of sight. Line of sight in this game is from one corner to another corner of the target. However, the line or the corner that is used cannot be the same corner. So I cannot draw from that top right hand corner one to this top right hand corner one. I mean, in that space or this instant, that doesn't really make sense because you can do it to that one. Therefore, I do have line of sight here going from that vertice or that corner to that corner. However, it is going through this destructible target or object, but because of my awesome card, it is a snipe, and I do not have to roll the accuracy check for that. I can just hit one of those two, either one I want. And I think I want to hit the archer because the archer is going to be able to attack through that barrier no matter what. Or it won't attack, but it's going to attack through it. Therefore, I want to try to start hurting that archer. So what I do for the attack is I grab I have a choice. I could either grab the basic attack die or, I forgot the name that they call this. But basically, this has 2 crits and 3 fumbles on it and higher numbers. So you've got a higher chance of hitting, but also a higher chance of fumbling. And this is your basic where you got 1 crit, wherever it is, 1 crit and 1 fumble, and then a little bit of lower numbers. So because this attack does not have any pluses to it, whatever I roll is the damage that goes through to the archer. 2, oh man. So that means 2 damage is going through. So what we do is come here and we look at the guard value. The guard value is actually a -1. So since I rolled that 2, you're going to take that 2 plus a -1, which, well, I guess that doesn't make sense. But because the guard, or you're going to minus a -1. There you go. That's what I was trying to say. So 2 minus their guard, which the guard is -1. Therefore, it's a 2 plus 1 in this case. So that means a full of 3 damage is going on to the archer. So we'll take the archers here. He's got 7. 1, 2, 3. He is at 4 health now. Alright, now it is the warrior's turn since he's got initiative 9 as well. But when there's a tie, the heroes go first. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm actually going to play the Sleep 4 first. But I must move in a straight line here. So my straight line is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, since it's a leap, I can leap through those dotted lines. So now I'm there. Now, I'm going to play my lunge. I get an attack +1 with a range of 2. So I got 1, 2. And any way I draw this from that corner or to that corner, I'm still hitting a corner of one of those barriers. So I'm still, no matter what I do, I'm going to hit a barrier. I can't go around that barrier. I do have that range of 2. However, I'm going through this. So the first thing you do when you are doing it, you still roll for damage first. I'm choosing to roll the basic attack die. Whoa, that went off the board. I'll re-roll that. Even though it was a crit, I should have kept it. Oh yeah, I still get the crit. So that's 3 damage plus a crit. Now when there's a crit, my choices, I go to my board here. My crit ability, I can gain barrier and vengeful, or I can inflict stunned. Now just a quick run through. If I chose barrier, or the barrier and vengeful, barrier is the next time the figure would receive damage, remove this condition token instead. So that actually might be beneficial since I'm right up front there. The archer is going to attack me. So having that barrier would not be a bad thing. And then Vengeful is after a melee attack completes against the figure and does not result in it being knocked down, stunned, defeated, or otherwise unable to perform an attack, the figure performs an attack -1 in retaliation, then removes the condition. If another effect defeats the attacker before the attack -1 is performed, do not remove this condition token. So barrier is going to give me 0 damage when they attack me. Vengeful is going to give me a retaliation attack of a -1. Or if I chose the other one and inflict stunned, stun is characters who are stunned cannot take any action, any kind of action, use item, or activate equipment attachments with manual triggers. Adversaries cannot take any kind of action until at the end of their next full turn after being stunned, at which time they remove the condition token. So I was just doing the math, and all that really doesn't matter, because if we take the Ranger's card again, she has a guard of a -1. Ooh, it does matter though, because I could gain it myself. Okay, I do know what I'm going to do. So the 3 minus the -1. So therefore my attack is going 4. And that is all that she has left is 4 damage. So therefore I am going to gain a Vengeful token to my Grolic warrior, and also a barrier token for my warrior. And I am going to kill this archer. That means she does not get a turn. And the second thing that happens when she dies, so she's dead, and a orb is placed in her place. So these orbs are kind of like our spending thing. We're going to have certain abilities and stuff that you can spend those to activate certain abilities down the road. So picking those up can be really beneficial in that way. So that was the end of the warrior's turn. So we're going to discard those cards. We also discarded the snipe from the archer. Now we're going to look at, take that away there. Now we're going to look at the sentry. So just to remind ourselves, this is what the sentry is doing. The sentry is that yellow base. Therefore, the sentry is going to do that 1 on that card, but he's going to move 3. However, the guy's already within 3, but there's a barrier in between. So he cannot move 3, but he's not going to move away. But he is going to attack 2. So he's going to attack that thing with a -2. So that's the first thing that they're going to do. That sentry is going to do. So we'll bring this back here. The enemies always roll the basic die unless otherwise stated in one of their cards. So get a -2 to this roll and roll the 4. So any positive damage, doesn't matter how much or how little, as long as it's greater than 0, a damaged token is going to be placed. So this here is the damage token. So that is going to be placed right there. Now that means the next positive damage that goes to that object will actually break free, and then you can move through it. So that was the first action. The second action is he's going to gain resilient and barrier. So we already talked about barrier, meaning the next attack that comes into him will be 0. And resilient means the next time the figure were to receive a condition, remove this condition token instead. So basically he can't get hurt, nor can he get any type of conditions next turn. Now that is the end of the round. We will discard the Grolic Archer since she has been defeated. We will discard the Grolic card right there into the discard pile. And we'll discard the Archer, and this just goes away anyways because we are finished with the Archer. And that means we just have the Grolic Sentry left. And we'll discard that card. Whoops, we'll leave it up. Discard that one. And we'll discard that one. And that's all we have for next round. And something just to show real quick, we have Barrier and Resilient going on to the Grolak Sentry card for next turn. So first thing we do again is roll the decision dice, and we get a light blue Southwest. And our mission or our event card is all characters have +1 max AP for the round. Nice, so that's actually positive. So that means the Slink Archer now has 12, and the Grolak Warrior now has 10. Alright, what we have chosen for the Grolak Warrior is I'm going to do an attack 3, and I'm playing this guard 3. However, I'm going to convert it for movement, hopefully, is my goal. Hopefully they go last. Once again, initiative 9, trying to go slow. That didn't work last time, but we're trying again so I can do a heavy hit on her. And for our Archer, we're going to do a move 5. However, I will have to end a space adjacent to a wall or object. And then we're going to do an attack of Pierce 3 with the initiative 7. So I'm not too worried whether I go first or second with him or with her. So we are going to do that. Now let's look at what the enemy's going to do. Alright, so we'll flip this over. He's going to have a 5. So that R means that it is for this entire round. Not when his turn is, but it starts right now, right as I flip it over. The Grolak is immune to the detrimental conditions. Remove any conditions already on the Grolak at the start of the round, including conditions that normally interrupt round effects. So that is only detrimental conditions, meaning those two conditions are not detrimental, right? Because they're good for him. So those don't affect him, and we can't affect him with any more. And now we'll draw the Sentry card. Once again, he is the yellow, so his initiative is going to be a 3, and he is just going to do a straight up attack. So initiative wise, we have the Archer, then the Sentry, and then the Grolak Warrior. Alright, so first up with initiative 7, we have the Archer, our Slink Archer. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the move 5. However, we do have to end adjacent to a wall or object. And these, oh, you can't really see very well there, that glare. These are dotted lines. They are not solid lines, therefore it is not a wall. So that means I got to end adjacent to one of these. Let's move that, there you go. I have to end my movement adjacent to the object. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I do have to stop because that is not an object, that's just difficult terrain. So I do have to end there so I end adjacent to an object. However, being right there, my attack will be an attack with +3, or Pierce 3, sorry. And I have range 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means I am within range 5 of that. However, I will be going through that damaged obstacle. So let's see if I hit. So I roll first to see how much damage I'm going to do. Ooh, 3. So I got a 3. So I'm going to do 3 damage. However, now this is where the accuracy dice comes in. Because I have to shoot through that obstacle, I have to roll this dice to see if I make it past that obstacle or not. If I get one of those at this face, this is where we hit, meaning I hit past it, and I'll hit the enemy. If I get one of these, it means that obstacle blocks it, so therefore the obstacle will take the damage. And if I get that, that means I just full on just totally missed and don't hit at all. So I'll roll this to see what happens. Ah, dang it. So I don't hit him. I hit this. I hit the obstacle because it was blocked by that. That means that is now difficult terrain to go through, which will take 2 to move into. And that finishes off his turn. And sorry, these are hazard spaces. And that is a difficult terrain, but these are hazard spaces. So now it is the Grolak Sentry's turn. And he has initiative of 8. And there's no attack or anything on this. So enemies can. So he is not in range to attack because he only has a range of 1. So he's not in range to attack. So normally, because this doesn't have a movement, he would convert it for movement of 5. However, if it has a round marker, that means the enemy cannot and will not make or convert this to movement. So that means he just doesn't do anything. He is the yellow base, so we will do the yellow. He cannot attack from there, so he will convert this to a movement and move 1, 2 into that space there to move up close to him, and that is actually his entire turn. And so now we have the warrior. So this is pretty much not needed because they've already attacked and I don't need the movement because he moved right next to me. However, let's do a big old attack here with an attack plus 3. So we'll bring over the dice here. Let's roll this dice. Come on, baby. Roll good. Ah, really? I got a 2, which is good. At least I didn't miss. But, so I have a 2 plus 3. That means I have 5 damage going in. However, we bring this over here. He does have this barrier, meaning any damage goes through, this just gets discarded and no damage is taken. Should have thought about that before I used my plus 3 attack, but that's alright. So that is that round. At the end of the round, we will discard both of the enemy cards. Also, we discarded our heroes cards, and we will begin the new round. So beginning this round, we will roll the decision dice. And this is a little bit harder to see, but it is east, dark blue and east, south there. And also the mission event card, or the event card we drew was nothing happens. So that means this round we're good. Alright, so for the Grelic Warrior, all we're going to play is a guard plus 2 and attack plus 2. I'm only playing this as an initiative 7, and I'm really hoping that I go first before he goes, so I could get that guard plus 2 out. Because if I don't, that's not going to be as beneficial. But we're going to go for it. Now for the Slink Archer, we're going to do some movement, and then I'm going to use this target 3, which seems weird because I only got 1 enemy out. But when we go to the board, I'll kind of show you what I plan to do with that extra target there. Now, for the enemy, he is going to move 3 and do an attack of -2, which he doesn't need that move, but he will do that attack. And then for the sentry, once again, he's yellow, so he'll do attack and inflict knockdown. Oh yes, that means his initiative is 8. Booyah, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. All right, this should work this time. Those are famous last words. I shouldn't say that this should work, right? However, we do have going first is our Grelic Warrior, and then the Grelic Sentry will go, and then our Archer will go because her initiative is 9. So we will do this. So I get a guard plus 2, which is great because he is going to attack me twice. So I'll get that guard plus 2 for both of those attacks. And now I get to attack him for plus 2. And he's already right next to him. So I will roll my basic attack die. 2 again. Which, this is why it's really not that good. Because he does have a guard of 2. And we haven't hit him yet. So this is the first time we're hitting him. So he's got a 2 plus 2. So that means we're hitting him for 4. Minus his guard, which is 2. So that means I only hurt him for actually 2 damage. So he will go down 1, 2 down to 9 damage, and we'll get rid of that white base because that's not a plus 10 anymore, and he's got 9 health left. That ends the Grelic Warrior's turn. We'll discard that. Actually, we're not discarding that card yet because it is still out. So we'll place it right here just so we remember that plus 2. So the first thing that he is going to do is he's going to do this card first, which is move 3 and attack -2. He does not need to move, so he will do that attack, but he does get a -2, and I have a guard 2. So that means I'm pretty much safe here, which is good. But we'll roll it anyways. And he does fumble, which there's no negative side. It just means he doesn't hit, which is great because the next damage actually does 0 to me. So that is a good thing. However, I do have this Vengeful token on the Grellic Warrior, which once again is after a melee attack is complete against the figure and does not result in knockdown, stun, defeated, or otherwise unable to perform an attack. The figure performs an attack of -1 in retaliation. So that means I'll get rid of that. I'll get rid of this token here, and I will attack back. It isn't a -1, so maybe not much happens. Yep, I rolled a 2 once again, but it's -1, so it's only a 1, but he's got a guard of 2. So once again, 1 damage coming in. He's got a guard of 2. No damage done to him. But that's alright. That was a extra attack anyways. However, now he will do the second attack and inflict knockdown. However, knockdown or any negative effect is only added to the person being attacked if damage is done. So he just has a normal attack. So as long as nothing happens here, we could cross our fingers I'm not going to get knocked down. And there's the 3. So 3 minus my 2, that means 1 damage still goes through. So I'll take my character here from 17 down to 16, which is not that bad. However, he does get knocked down, which a figure who is knocked down cannot attack, take any non-move or non-leap action of any kind, use items or activate equipment with manual trigger until 1 MP to remove this condition. Okay, so basically it just takes 1 MP to move. I just can't do anything until I use that 1 movement point to stand up next turn, which I've already gone, so it doesn't affect me this turn. I will lay my character down here just so I remember that he is knocked down, so I don't remember, or so I don't forget to stand up. Meaning, which is actually does a lot right now, because now I have to play a move action next turn so I can attack. I can't just put down like 2 attack cards. So that does actually affect me a lot right now. But we will go on to the archer's turn. The archer, what we're going to do is we are going to do a move 3 here first. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So now I'll kind of explain what my idea here for this target 3. If you see up here closely, we need to activate this orb. It's not really part of the mission right now. However, we do want to do it at some time because it's there, right? But we have this destructible object here to even get on there. So to activate orb, you have to end your turn on a place adjacent to the orb. So I've got to end my turn in that space, but that is a destructible object. So my second one of those targets is actually going to be that guy. And I'm actually going to attack that one as well, just because why not, right? Because it's there anyways, and I have 3 targets. So, but I am going to, when you target more characters than one, you do have to roll an individual die for each one. So I will attack the sentry first, and this is a +0 attack, so it's just whatever I roll. Ooh, yeah. Do 4. Once again, he has the guard of 2, so that means 2 damage goes through, and he goes from 9 damage health to 7 health. And then I will attack this one next. So as long as I don't hit a miss. Alright, cool, I do 2. So that means I damage it. And just for fun, I'll attack that one as well, because why not, right? And I do another 2. Man, I've been rolling 2s all night. And I'll put a little damage token right there as well. Alright, and that is his turn. And end phase is done. Or we don't have any end phase things going on. So we'll end the turn there. And we will discard both of these from the enemy. And we discarded the heroes cards as well. And we'll begin a new round. So at the beginning of the round, we got a light blue southwest. And then we also drew an event card. But once again, it's nothing happens. So nothing to worry about this round. Alright, so for the Grellic Warrior, we're going to do 3 things here. We're going to do a guard +1 and an attack. we're going to do another attack +1. However, we do have to add this move 2 in because, as you remember, we are knocked down. So his initiative is going to be 7 again. So hopefully we could go at a good timing here. Now for the Slink Archer, we're also going to do 2 attacks. We're going to do an attack. If the attack succeeds, but a critical strike was not rolled, activate an available critical ability anyways. And she does have either vulnerable or damage ×2 to do that. And then we also have an attack +1. She will have a -1 range, but that's okay. She's only 2 away. But on all accuracy checks during the attack, if a success or block is rolled, the attack applies as if a block was rolled, but then continues on as if a success was rolled. And then a critical strike, we get to hit other enemies, but it doesn't. And objects in line of sight. So that actually might help. However, her initiative is 10, so she's definitely probably going to go last, but that's okay. She's not in danger, so I'm not too worried about her going last. And now we'll draw for the sentry. We've got just a straight up move 4, which is good. He doesn't need to move. So this one, he is yellow, so he will just do 1 straight up attack on me. That's actually not too bad. Not too bad. And he is going to go first because he's got a 3 and a 3. So he's got 6. And then the warrior will go with 7. And then the archer will go with 10. So as we just looked, the sentry move 4, but he doesn't need to move. So we will ignore that one. And then just do a straight up attack. And he is obviously attacking this warrior here. And he gets a 2. Awesome. I'm okay with 2. No abilities or anything else happens. So he goes down 16 to 14. And now it is his turn. So he's first going to do this move 2 to stand up, so he's not knocked down anymore. So that's that one spent. Now we'll do this guard +1, which doesn't really matter because he's not going to get attacked. But we will do just a normal +0 attack. So we'll do this. And we miss it. So that means nothing happens. Now I'll do my attack +1. So attack +1 roll. Oh my goodness, and another 2. But he's got, as always, he's got that plus or guard 2. So that means we just do that +1 damage. So he goes from 7. Ooh, there we go. Sorry, 7 down to 6. Now we'll go straight into the archer's turn with these 2 attacks. So we'll play this one first. That's an attack. And as long as it hits, we get to do one of the abilities here. Yeah, that's what I wanted. That's exactly what we needed. That's a 4 right there. So when it says damage ×2, what actually happens is it still does. So we got the 4 minus the 2. So that means it's only doing 2 damage. And then you double that. So instead of doing 8 minus 2, right? So you don't double the die. You figure out all the damage that's actually done, and then you double it. So we got 4 minus 2. We double that 2 to a 4, so we could do 4 damage. Or we could do vulnerability, which gives him a -2 to guard. I'm going to do this one where I can inflict vulnerable, which gives him a -2 to his guard. Not till afterwards, though. First we hit. So 4 minus 2, we do 2 damage. So now he goes from 6 down to 4. But now he's vulnerable, so for our next attack that has a +1, and we're attacking straight forward here. And now he doesn't have any guards, so it'll do +1. The die, whatever the die says, +1. Come on, roll good. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So 4 + 1, so that's 5 damage. He doesn't have any guard anymore because we gave him vulnerable. And he has 4, doing 5 damage. And that finally kills that sentry. Man, he was kind of a bugger to kill. And that actually ends that round as well. So beginning of this next round, we'll roll the decision dice. Ooh, once again, hard to see. That is the east-south, dark blue. And then also our card, which once again, nothing happens. However, that is our 5th card. So that means our next one is going to be from the 6+ event card, which usually are a little bit more negative in general. But so that's something to take account of. But now we come to our Grolic Warrior's turn. So this is our discard pile. We only have 1 card left. And we just defeated all enemies. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do a rest. So this time I'm going to rest. The character's initiative for resting is considered 1, meaning they're going to go very first. And then you can't play any cards. Cards can't do anything that round, right? Because you're resting. However, you do recover your entire discarded card back to your hand. You can also get rid of any negative effects if you have any negative effects on you. And then you can rearrange, if you have some equipment, you could rearrange equipment. If you need any of those orbs to charge your abilities, you could recharge those. And that's pretty much all you do on a rest turn. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to get ready to rest. So we still need to do 1 more damage to there to get to that orb. So I'm going to have the archer worry about that. So what the archer is going to do is she's going to attack. And then she's just going to use this for movement too. So hopefully this attack will hit, which will open that space. And then I lied. I need to do this one because that will become a difficult terrain. So I will use this for a movement of 3 so I can move into that and end my turn, thereby activating that orb. And there's no more enemies, so we do discard their cards. And we get rid of his monster card because we have defeated him. And so, since he is resting, we will take the discard pile and add it back to his hand. There are no negative effects on him, so therefore that ends his turn. Now, the archer is going to go. Like I said, she's going to do an attack first. As long as I hit, this will work. All right, there's that 4. Once again, numbers don't matter as long as you hit. That means I do hit that since I have a ranged attack, right? My range is always 5. So hit that with that. And then I will transfer this card and use it for a movement of 3. And I'll go 1, 2, 3 because it is difficult terrain. Therefore, ending my turn. I'm going to go back real quick. Because I ended my turn next to this orb, that means the Grolic Warrior did get to obtain that orb there. And now that, since he landed on there as well, he gets to activate that orb, and you just flip it over to this non-blue side, stating that you have therefore activated that orb. Because it has that number 1 on there, we will actually go to the secret book here. We'll come to this extras book where it says stop, but we will reference the number in this book real quick. So as it has this orb, number 1, it's got some good flavor text. And basically what it did is mission Berkav 5. So we're on Berkav 1 right now. And so that means we unlocked a new mission to do it. And then also because optional mission, that just means we completed more that we did in this level. So this was not something we had to do, but it did unlock another mission for us to do later on. Alright, so that will end the round there. Your archer only has 1 card left in her deck, so she's probably going to have to rest next round. But let's go ahead and start next round here. We'll take our decision die, roll it. That is east, north, and dark red. And then we'll draw the 6+ event card. Ooh, and luckily enough, or not luckily enough, something is happening. Mission event. Oh no! So mission event, if you remember, it is lava erupts all around. Every figure that ends the round adjacent to the fire hazard gets burned. So that's at the end of the round. So as long as he moves, we'll be good. Because these are the only 2 fire hazards. So as long as no one is adjacent to these by the end of the round, then we'll be okay. So let's just make sure we move. Alright, so I'm going to have the Grolic Warrior go and open that door. And this one is not locked. So if the door is not locked, all you have to do is move onto that hexagon that has the door. So I'm actually going to use this for the movement because that will give me enough movement to directly land on the door. And then I'm going to play this one just in case, so that before I have a guard, but I'm not, and I'm only wasting an attack if I'm not able to attack for whatever happens when we open up that door. As for the archer, this is his only card left in its hand, so he is going to rest. Therefore, his initiative will be 1. So he will go very first, and then we'll go on to the warrior. So the archer will go. We will take all these cards, add them back to her hand, and that will end her turn. She doesn't have any negative effects, so that will end her turn. And now we'll do this. I'm going to spend this just for the movement, so this doesn't happen. I'm just using it for the 4 movement, which will go 1, 2, 3, 4. And as soon as I open that door, we're going to read what it says in the mission book. And this is all it says in the mission book. I really like this. Once again, 2 to 4 players, you're going to place a Grillos at T2 and T4. For 3 to 4 players, you'll put one on S3. And for 4 players, you'll also put one at U5. So since we just have 2 characters, we will only place 2 Grillos, one at T2 and one at T4. And then we'll play forward, still continuing to try to get that treasure chest. Alright, I kind of zoomed up on this side here. So T2, you can see T and then 2. So you go over to 2, which is there. You go from T all the way up. So that means 1 Grillos will go there. And then the other one was T4. So once we get T, come up and we have 4. So that is where those are placed. So I really like that because we really had no idea what was going to go on there until the mission book kind of demonstrated where they were going to be. And now I get to finish my turn now that they're spawned. Oh, before that, let me just show you what they do. So they have a health of 6. So I've already preset their health to 6. They have a guard of 1, attack of 1, and a range of 1. And then their critical ability is place a poison hazard in an empty space as close as possible to the target. And now we'll also draw the cards for him as well. So for them, they are Grillos. So we'll shuffle up the Grillo deck and place it over next to them. And then also they are considered trained or trained beast. So we'll shuffle these up as well. They do not activate the turn that they are spawned. So we will not do that, but we have them already. So now he gets to finish his turn. So we come back out to the full picture. He did that movement. He plays this, but no one's going to attack him. And he doesn't really... Ooh, actually, maybe he'll... Yep. I am going to have him move 3 for this one as well. 1, 2, 3. That way I'm in range and I might be able to do maybe 1 or 2 attacks right on him without having to worry about movement. So I will move up to there. And that will end this round. Next round here, we roll the decision dice. We have a dark blue east-south. And our 6+ event card is Too Quiet. If no adversaries are present, which they are, luckily they just spawned last turn. If they weren't, every character rolls the blitz die. That's what it's called, is the blitz die, which is that other attack die. Place 1 event adversary in an empty space adjacent to the character that rolls the fumble. So that's the Grolic Archer is the event adversary. So that's how that comes by. But there are adversaries already present, so nothing happens there. So that lucked out quite well. Now we'll see what we want to do for each character here. Alright, so for the Grolic Warrior, I'm going for initiative 9, so I'm probably going to go last. However, I'm doing 2 big attacks, an attack +3 and an attack +1. I'm hoping to at least take out one with that attack +3, and then I could take out the other one with the attack +1. So I'm hoping to do some good damage there, at least take out one of them with both of these, at least. As for the Archer, I'm going to move 5, which will put me into range, and I will end next to a wall, so that will work. And then I'm going to do this target 3, which I'm going to kind of do what I did last time is I'm going to attack the enemy and maybe an object because I got to go through an object to get to that treasure chest. So I might do that there. As for the Grillos, first one is going to be to move 4, which they're both adjacent already. So they're not going to worry anything about that. So they won't move. But we've got the yellow one. We'll do an attack of -2. I'm okay with that. And then we've got the dark blue one, which will attack -1. All adjacent trained beast allies that have an enemy in range perform an attack X2 or attack -2. So luckily they're not adjacent, so they're not going to do the extra -2. And they're, wow, yeah, they're really fast. The first one has a speed of 3 altogether, because it is that. So the first one has a initiative 3, then initiative 5. So pretty much no matter what I would have done anyways, I would have gone last. So I'm okay with what I chose. As described, the first thing that the yellow one will do is move forward, but he's not going to move. Now the yellow one does an attack of -2. But he does have an attack of 1. So that means it's pretty much just an attack of -1 from the die. Oh, and he gets a critical. So critical, he will do 3 damage minus the 1, so 2 damage to me. However, their critical ability is place a poison hazard in an empty space as close as possible to the target. So we will take that poison space and place it right there. Poison traps, you will take 3 damage if you enter into it. And then you will also be inflicted with weakened. And weaken is a -2 to all your attacks. And that weaken stays on there until you rest. So let's hope I could stay with not getting that. So, but I will still take 2 damage to the Growlithe. So he goes from 14 down to 12. Dang, for a -2 attack, that was still a lot. Now, the dark blue will go. And he'll do an attack of -1. But he already has an attack of 1. So it's pretty much an attack of 0. So whatever the die says is what will happen. Oh, and he misses. Yes, I like it. I like it. All right. The archer's turn. She's got an initiative of 8. And the warrior has initiative 9. So we're going to move 5 first here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which I'm adjacent to these walls here. So I could use that movement there. And now I'm within range of both of these. However, so here I'm going to kind of demonstrate one of my favorite things about this game here. And I don't know if it's going to pay off, but I'm going to try it just to show it off. So I have an attack of target 3. So initially, right, what you do, like, we'll all target those 2, right? So that way I hit them, which I can. That's definitely a more for sure way to hit. However, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to target this object and this object. And by choosing these objects, I'm going to have to shoot through both of these characters. This object and this object and this person, this Grillo. Those are going to be my 3 targets. That way I have 2 chances of hitting him. And then as well, I have a chance of hitting him. So these are my 3 targets. So, and that's what I like, because I need to shoot through the objects eventually to get to that treasure chest. So it actually, if I don't hit this, then I hit him, and that's actually not a bad thing. So let me take my damage. So I'm going to target this object first. See if I hit. I got a 2. So I'm doing 2 damage to this. However, since I got to shoot through him, I got to roll the accuracy dice. So if I get a block, I do 2 damage to the Grillo. If I get a success, I'll put a damage token on here. And if I hit a miss, then that just sucks and I miss everything. I roll and I got a block. I'm okay with that. That means 2 damage going into the Grillo. The Grillo does have a guard 1. So that means this Grillo just goes down to 5. And now I get to, since the first one I was actually targeting the object, now I actually get to target the Grillo. So this time I won't have to shoot the accuracy die because I'm not shooting through anything this time. I roll. Oh, yeah. And again, I get a critical 3. Because it's critical, it ignores all guard. So I am going to do my critical ability of damage times 2. That means I do 6 damage to his mere 5 health. Oh, you can't really see that very well, but he's got 5 health. So I actually kill that Grillo. Booyah! Which, killing him, drops this orb. And now I still have one more attack. I'm going to, once again, target this one by going here to here. Here to here. Therefore, I'm targeting this object. And I will roll to see if I hit. And I do only 2 again. Now, once again, if I get the block, I'll do 1 damage to this Grillo. If I get this miss, I'll miss. If I hit the success, then I'll just damage that object. And I'll roll. And I got the success. That's okay. I'm okay with that. So we will put 1 damage token there. All right. Now that is what I talk about a turn. And that's one thing I really, really like about this. Like, I love this accuracy dice. It's so much fun to kind of play with it in that aspect. And last but not least, we will have the warrior go. Now, he's just got 2 big attacks. So let's do this big attack first. So I got a +3. Come on, big roll. Yes! That is the one roll that I can do the one-shot kill because he's got 6 health. So 4 + 3. But then he's got a guard of 1, which takes it down to 6. And he has 6 health. So I one-shotted that Grillo. That was awesome. Man, that's making up for all that horribleness that happened at first, right? Trying to get that sentry down. Man, that was a pain. So that means with this one, I'm actually just going to use this for a movement of 3 to go 1, 2. And that ends that round. So I discard all cards used, including the enemies. And we'll go on to the next round. So we will roll the decision dice. And that is the southeast, dark blue there. And our event card is Too Quiet if no adversaries are present. Oh no! Because I just killed him. So we will roll a blitz attack die and place 1 event adversary in an empty space adjacent to that character that rolls a fumble. So I have to, this blitz die has 3 fumbles on it. So there's a very high chance. Let's see how I do. So this is going to be for the warrior. Ah, no. All right, so 1 archer next to the warrior. And let's roll for the archer. All right, a crit. I'll take that. So we just got the 1 that we spawned. All right, so for the warrior, we are going to do a guard +2, attack +2, and a move 2. So his initiative is going to be 8. And now for the archer, we are going to do 2 different attacks. So I don't have to move. I'm going to do 2 separate attacks, hopefully, to get that archer. But his initiative is not going to be till 10. So we'll see how it all plays out, but that's what we're going to try to do. We are going to draw for the archer now. He first draws a barreling run, a move of 6, which he's right there. So actually he will go, oh no, he might move actually. Because enemies, when they're ranged, they do try to get as far away as they can from their target. So, and he is going to be the target because you go with the nearest one. So he's going to move like all the way over to this corner to try to hit him with that. So that's his first one, is a 3. Then we have dark red for the color. So he is going to activate, he's going to leap for an attack with a -2. All right, so his initiative is going to actually be 7, which does mean he's going to go first. So let's see how this runs out here. And I don't know why I didn't do this earlier, but I figured I'd just zoom up on the part that actually matters on the board right now. So we are going to have him go first. So just to recap, he is going to move 6. Now, the archer, as a reminder, he's got a health of 7, guard of -1, attack 1, and then a range of 5. So with his move, he's going to try to get in that range of 5. So he's going to try to get 5 spaces away from the enemy. Before they move, he's going to target the nearest enemy. So the nearest enemy is going to be him. Is going to be the warrior. Now we're going to move him as far away from the warrior as he can. And even though he'll technically be closer to the archer, he's still going to attack his initial target. So targets don't change. Once their target is acquired at the very beginning, the target will not change. So the target is him. We have, so if he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then he will have a 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's exactly 5 spaces away from him there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So actually, technically, he'd be here or here, right? Because here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is where we come to this. Dark blue doesn't do anything, but then it is south. That's hard to see, but south. So he's going to be the southmost one. So it will be that one versus that one. So he will now go to the second part. Leap 4. He doesn't need to leap or move at all because he's already there. But he will do an attack of -2. So we'll go ahead and grab the tray. Alright, and we will roll this basic attack die here. Oh yeah, check that out. 2, which, looking at the card, we have an attack -2. So 2 minus 2, which is 0. So the archer does not even hurt the warrior. That was perfect. Now, we're going to hope that the archer can finish or can kill the archer there. So, with the warrior here, we are just going to attack that place right there. Just hopefully we could move on to the treasure so we can start making our way through this scenario here. So, remember, all I got to do is not fumble here. Maybe I shouldn't say that out loud. All I got to do is hit. So even though it's an attack +2, it doesn't really matter. And we do hit. It's a 4, so we do 6 damage, but that doesn't really matter a whole lot. But this will turn into a damaged terrain area, which does mean that it's hard to go through. But so that was that card. Attacking. He does have a guard +2, but the enemy's already gone, so it doesn't really matter. And now we will play this moving 2. So this does take 2 spaces to move into, or 2 movements to move into. So 1, 2. There we go. However, now ending the turn is how you can pick this up. You don't have to end your turn on it. It's either on it or adjacent to it. So the fact that I ended my turn right here, we'll see what that treasure chest does. So as you can see right here, it says stop reading until the treasure has been retrieved. So since I just retrieved it, now we're going to go on to this next section here. So once again, I'm not going to read the flavor text here just so we could kind of get into the gameplay, just because that's what I want to show here. So now our new objective, since our last objective was just to attain that treasure, now our new objective is escape through an entrance point or defeat all adversaries. So we either kill all the enemies or we got to get back to those beginning points where we started and spawned from. However, we do have to place these ones out. So we're going to place out 2 Grolic Berserkers, one at E9, actually just one at E9, because we just have 2 players here. So we will do this. Now, a mission event. More Grolics arrive, furious that you have taken their treasure and intent to get it back. Place Grolic Berserkers as follow. Meaning, on our event deck, if we ever get the mission event, basically means we're going to spawn another Grolic Berserker back at E9, which is the same place that he's being spawned. So we kind of want to make it out. It does give you a tip here that the Grolic Berserkers do hit extremely hard. Therefore, we can either defeat all of them, or we can just get back to the beginning, which is probably a better strategy since they are not the nicest and easiest to kill. So we're going to go from there. And here we are. We have this Grolic Berserker here, spawning him at E9. Here's our Grolic Berserker card. They have a health of 9 and a guard of -1. However, they do have a base attack of 3 damage and then a range of 1. So they'll do 3 plus whatever's on that dice. So the lowest thing on that dice, I think, is 2. So they will do at least 5 damage if they hit. And then their critical ability is immediately perform an additional action of -3. but this may be only triggered once per turn. So they might hit you hard and then go right back and hit you again, which is why you can try to kill them, or you might as well just run away because they're already right here. They spawn at the beginning, so basically what it is survive their attacks and get to one of those beginning spots there. Now when they are spawned, enemies do not get to have a turn, so I don't draw their cards, their attack cards or ability cards, until beginning of next round here. Alright, so here we are, and we'll go ahead and finish the archer's turn now to try to get rid of that archer. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to do this attack card here. This is headshot. So if the attack succeeds but a critical strike was not rolled, activate an ability. Activate an available critical ability anyways. So hopefully if we could hit hard, we could double damage and just take them out in one hit. So that's what we're going to roll for here. So let's go ahead and take this basic attack die. 4! Oh my goodness. Holy cow. So I do 4. But as you remember, the Grolic Archer has a guard of -1. So that means 5 damage are going through. And because it's a head strike, we get to do a critical ability, which the archers, one of the base archers' critical ability is damage times 2. So that means we are doing 10 damage. 10 damage to this archer. That measly archer that only has 7 health. So needless to say, this archer is gone. Alright. Now, I actually could use this for movement. Because I think, let me read this one more time. Escape through an entrance port or defeat all adversaries. Do both of my characters need to get to the beginning or just one of them? Let me try to figure that out. Alright, so apparently I just didn't read anything, but it does say that the mission is completed when the character who retrieved the treasure ends around on the entrance port. Makes sense. So he picked it up means he's got to get to the beginning. Saying that it's not going to help if I do this and try to run back to the beginning, because if that means he's just going to get hit by that Grolic. So I am going to use it for a movement, however, but I'm not going to go all the way back. I'm just going to go pick up that orb there. Or, nope. I'm going to pick up that orb. And hopefully we can pick that orb back up on our way out there. So I'm going to use that for its movement and go 1, 2, 3 and just end right there. So I pick up that orb. Now we're going to go ahead and discard our action cards. We're going to discard the Grolic Archer and the cards we drew for them. And we'll start the next round. Alright, we're going to roll the decision die. Well, man, yeah, you really cannot see that. That is east and then south. And then we will draw here. Dangerous place to rest. Any character that rests this round receives 2 damage. Ooh. Good thing we both just rested like 2 turns ago. Alright, so, and that's a good thing because that means we're not spawning another one of those berserkers there. Alright, so now let's figure out what we want to do for each of our characters. Alright, so for the warrior here, so because he just needs to move, so I gave him a leap 4, a move 4, and an attack if needed, but then I can convert it for another 4. So that means my initiative is 9, but I also have a movement of 9. So hopefully I could get almost to back to the beginning with his turn. As for the archer here, I am going to give her one of these or both of these I'm going to use for movement. And then I have a range +3, so I could hopefully hit that berserker pretty good. But I wanted to make sure that she went last because I don't want somehow the berserker to get into range. So I made sure that she is going last, so I kind of threw in a couple of these extra cards just so her initiative is 11, which is her max AP. But so her initiative is 11, so she's definitely going last here. As for the berserker, you can do 5. The Grolic is immune to detrimental conditions. Remove any such conditions already on the Grolic at the start of the round, including conditions that normally interrupt round effects. So that means this happens the entire round as soon as it's flipped over right now. And that has an initiative of 5. Also, because it has that round symbol, this cannot be converted to movement. So that means he will not move this one. He does have a light blue base. So that means we'll look at this light blue, and he will do an attack of -1. Wow. Okay, so he is going to go first with initiative of 6. Ooh, wow, he could have had initiative of 7. But but he won't do anything. He will convert that 1 to a movement, but that's about it. All right, so we're back here to the board. As we said, this will not be converted for movement. So this one just doesn't do anything right now. The light blue has a 1. He cannot attack anyone because his range is 1. So he will convert that 1 just to a movement. So he'll try to come this way because that's the closest there. So he will move 1 to right there. Big power move for him. All right, so now it is the warrior's turn. I did read one of these cards wrong. Is this move 4 is must move to a space adjacent to a visible adversary. And I'm not going to get there. I'm so close to getting there, but it's not going to happen. But that's all right. We'll just use that 2 movement, converting that to 2 movement there. So we're going to first convert this one to 4 movement here. No, we're not. We're first going to do this leap 4, but it must be in a straight line. So we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, because there's a wall right there. So I'm only going to move that 3. Then I'm going to convert this to the 2 movement and go 1, 2. And then for the last one, I'm going to convert this to a 4 and go 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. So now I'm only 1, 2, 3, 4 away from getting to the beginning. So that's good. Now we'll go with the archer here. Once again, wanted to make sure she went last, so she's definitely last here. But I am going to convert this to a movement of 5. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm just going to end my turn, or end my movement on there. So I'll just take that right now, because I'm not going to move again. But I am going to do this range +3. Do not roll any accuracy checks. The attack automatically reaches the intended target. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's actually in normal range, I guess. So we'll roll the basic attack die here. Oh, dang, 2. So that means 2. But they do have a guard of -1, so that means 3 damage goes through. So he goes down from 9 to 6 health here. And then, honestly, I'm just going to burn that, or I'll gain invisibility, but that really doesn't help too much. And that will end the round. Let's go ahead and roll the decision die. That is east and north and dark red. And the event card is Too Quiet. If no adversaries are present, each character rolls a blitz dice. Place one adversary in an empty space. However, we do have an adversary, so awesome. Nothing happens. So that ends that, and we'll go on to hopefully one of the last rounds. We'll see if we could get there with the warrior. Or, technically, because nothing spawned, we could just kill him. He only has 6 health left. So technically, we could just try to kill him, and that could end the game as well. So we'll see what we try to do. Alright, so this actually did not work out too well. This is my only card left in the warrior's hand. And all it is a guard 3 and a movement of 3. And I actually need 4 movement to get into the ending space. So literally, this will get me almost there, but not quite. And then that means next round I'll be closer to the enemy, but without any guard. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually just going to rest this turn with him. I'm going to rest with him so he doesn't move. So he's a little bit further away, so hopefully he's at least some way safe. And so I'm going to rest with the warrior. As for the archer, she's in a little better space, but not totally. So this is the only cards that she has left here. This is her only attack card. I was hoping she had 2 more left so I could attack twice. with her. However, I can't. I only have one attack, and that's all I'm going to do, is I'm just going to attack. The reason why I do this, so this attack is, if attack succeeds, optionally inflict stun instead of dealing damage. We'll see if we want to do that if we hit, depending on what he's going to do on his turn. But if I roll a crit, then I will kill him. And if I kill him, then we win. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll that blitz dice. Because if I miss, it's whatever. I could do more attacks next time, or I could just do whatever I need to. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to roll it with the blitz dice when the time comes, and see if I can't kill him. And my initial's only 3, so hopefully I go first before he goes. As for the Grolic Berserker, she's going to move 3 and an attack of -2. So she definitely, we'll see what she does there. And once again, she's the light blue. So she's going to attack +2 and inflict bleeding. But it is 7, so 7 plus 4, so she's got an initiative of 11. So hopefully, hopefully that doesn't hit. If it does, it's going to hit pretty bad. What? Because she's got a base attack of 3 and attack +2. So that means she has a base attack of 5, and then whatever you roll on the die. So, well, and I say she because this is the female Grolic. So the Berserker is actually female. So we'll see what she does exactly on her turn, but she's definitely going last. All right, so the Grolic goes first because he's resting, or my warrior goes first, so he is just going to rest and get all those cards back. And then next, the archer's going to go and do this attack here. Now, remember, as I said, I'm going to use this blitz dice, which has 2 criticals. So if I hit one of the criticals, the Berserker will die and will win. However, it does have 1, 2, 3 fumbles. So there's a higher chance that I might just completely miss on this. But it does double my chance to getting that crit, which is my only way to win this turn. If not, well, I don't think I will die, but we're going to get severely hurt. So, all right, here. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Ah, we fumbled. All right, all right. So that attack totally misses. It doesn't do anything. And now let's see what the Berserker is going to do. So the warrior is definitely the closest. So the first thing that she's going to try to do is to move 2 and attack -3. So this, I don't know if you could really tell, that has a dotted line border around that. So 1, 2, 3, she would not be able to get in to do that attack. So she will actually convert this card just to this 4 of movement of 4. So she will go 1, 2, 3, 4. However, going through that, she does take some damage, which is going to do 3 damage actually. So it's going to go all the way down to 3, just like that. And it's going to get burning, this burning token on her card as well. Now, burning, you take 3 damage at the beginning of your non-rest turn. That means at the beginning of her turn next time, she's going to die. So no matter what I do, I'm going to win. However, the one thing that would mess up that win, going that way, I mean, I still could go to the front. But the one thing that would mess that up is if the event card had me spawn another Berserker right there. So that could be bad. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the Berserker going through there was actually really, really good for me. However, what is not really, really good for me is the fact that she's going to attack me for a severing blow, attack +2, and inflict bleeding. So she also has a base attack of 3. So that means this attack is going to do 5 plus whatever I roll on this dice, unless I magically roll that fumble. All right, come on. Hit the fumble. Oh, no way. So that attack completely misses. Holy cow. That would have been a huge hit because he's only at 12 health. So that could have done pretty high intense damage. Wow. All right, I'll take it. I'll take it though. We both fumbled that turn, the Archer and the Berserker this time. All right, so that ends that round, and we'll move into the next round. So we will roll the event or the decision die. And this decision die is yellow, west, and south. All right, event card. See what the event card will be. Old Wounds. Every character that is not already at maximum bandage, roll the blitz dice. If a fumble is rolled, the character receives 1 bandage. At the end of the round, shuffle all drawn round 6 event cards back into the event deck. Oh, okay. Let's see how I roll with this blitz die here. So this is going to be for the warrior here. See if I get any bandages. Ooh, nice, 4. No bandages for the warrior. Now let's see if we get any bandages for the archer. Whoa, how about if I try to keep it in the box, huh? And it is a fumble for the warrior. So we will put one of these bandage tokens on here. Now, if we get a second bandage here, that means we cannot heal anymore. We've used up all the bandages that we have. And every time you heal, you receive a bandage as well. So I can heal once, but then after that healing once, I can't do anymore. Or if I get that Old Wounds card again, that takes up this spot. That means I will never be able to heal. So that's what that does right there. But with that being said, since that Berserker is the only one out, I could basically do nothing and I would win because she's going to take 3 damage at the beginning of her turn. So yeah, she's going to die no matter what I do. But let's go ahead and have some fun with this. For the warrior, I'm going to have him do just a big old attack +3. Do a heavy old swing and try to kill the Berserker. As for the ranger, I'm just going to do this 1 card again, but I'm going to convert it to an attack. To try to attack. Nope. I'm going to do both of them so I can move, and then I'll do convert one of these for an attack. So initiative of 6 for the archer. As for the Growlic Berserker, her first move is just going to be a move 4 with an initiative of 3. And light blue 6. So attack -1 on primary target, attack -1 on all other adjacent enemies, attack -1 on all adjacent allies. Holy cow. A Wild Fury. Oh, so probably only once because there won't be any other adjacent enemies and there's no adjacent allies. So that's actually not too bad. But so her initiative is going to be 9. Alright, so both the warrior and the ranger both have initiative of 6. So we get to choose who gets to go first. So I am going to have the warrior just take this big old swing and do this attack +3. So more or less if this hits, the Berserker's dead. Oh, are you kidding me? And I fumble. Of course I fumble. Alright, well, at least that's not my only choice here. So now, I'm going to move 3. 1, 2. Actually, I'm just going to move 2 here. And then I'm going to convert this to a basic +0 attack here. Alright, come on. 3 or more. There you go! That's how you do it. Archer. Archer goes and knocks that 4 damage because she's only got 3 left. And actually, the Berserker's got a -1, so actually that does 5 damage. The Berserker's gone. That does the objective because we could either defeat all the adversaries or get to the entrance point. We defeated all adversaries. We are the winners. And that completes that objective. So now we'll go back to the board and just look to see what happens when we finally complete the entire scenario. So it says, congratulations, you've completed the mission. And then if you come over here, the green box here are what we get in rewards. We get 1 skill point for each character, which is how we buy cards. I'll kind of show you how to upgrade the characters after this. We also get the laboratory schematics, which I'll go through that as well. And then we unlock Story Expedition number 1. So we'll go through those real quick here. So to start off, we got that 1 skill point, which when you play the intro scenario, right, this is scenario number 1. If you play the very first intro scenario, you also get 1 skill point. I didn't use it. You could save them up. You could spend them right away. But each character, each of these beginning characters come with 4 separate cards here. Now, they each have that number, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how many skill points it costs to add that card to your hand. But for each scenario, you can still only take 10 cards to each scenario. So if you buy this one, you have to take another one out of your deck. But this is how you use them. So meaning, after the first one, I could have bought this reload one, or I saved it. So now, technically, the archer has 2. So she could buy this one still, or she could buy this one. Or she could wait another one and buy this one, right? So you could save up to try to get this 4 right away, get that heat-sinking ammo. Or you could buy these upgrades right away. Kind of up to you. And that is how you upgrade your deck and starting hand and everything. As you can see, the warrior has also 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And they're all different, still totally different type of cards. They're upgrades. You could upgrade your deck. Once again, these base ones just have these 4 that you could upgrade with. You'll get other characters. They're going to have even more and better upgrades as you could upgrade everything. So that's that. This board is the Phantom Epoch. So right in the story, you kind of find this Phantom Epoch, but it's totally kind of destroyed. So throughout the scenario, you're actually starting to build it up more. So that laboratory schematics, that set that we got, that is one of the rooms right here, laboratory schematics. That means you could go ahead and check that off. Then, once you check off 3 vanished technologies, you could actually uncover this thing. This thing comes off, and then you could do whatever it says there. We're not going to go through it, but it kind of gives you more things you can do in between scenarios. Where this one, right, this one says cybernetic equipment with 5 vanished technology. You've got advanced simulations, right? So you're going to go through and slowly upgrade your whole Phantom Epoch, which is going to give you more abilities, more things you could do, buy, and whatnot. So slowly you will get through those. So the last unlock was the Story Expedition number 1. So after any story mission, so this was Berkav-1, meaning that we were on the planet of Berkav. You can go through, as you can see, this says Berkav. So you have a lot of expeditions that are from Berkav. Then you have other expeditions from the other planets. However, we also have these 2, which are story expeditions. So this one was Story Expedition number 1. So that means we unlock this and we could read this and do these actions. Once again, you could do action A, action B, you choose, you flip it over, and then it gives you what happens. I'm not going to go through it. I don't want to go through any details of what's going to happen. But that's kind of what that is. You go through, you make decisions. You could do one of these in between each scenario. And what that's going to do, that's going to help you get those type of vanquish technologies, or help open up the cybernetic equipment or the advanced simulations to help the Phantom Epoch. Or they may even actually unlock other scenarios you could play. So lots can happen with those. But that's kind of how that ending of each scenario goes. So there's Phantom Epoch. One scenario. It's still one of the beginning scenarios, so it wasn't too intense, wasn't too involved. However, as you get further and further in here, it definitely does get more and more involved. Just a quick flip through, you can see all the different places that you'll be. The maps really change up quite drastically, even though it's all just this book. I mean, you could see how different all of these really are. So super exciting, super fun. I'm actually really liking this game. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed going through that with me. I do have a full how to play, my thoughts, and a quick unboxing video as well if you'd like to go check that out. But anyways,